your father where you spoke ill to him, not to mention spoke ill to your mother, but somehow your mother and father and I all have a loving relationship and communicate back and forth because of the love that we have for you. The one thing these individuals, and to the individuals out here that oftentimes speak after they've heard one side of the story, there's an old saying, believe half of what you see and none of what it is that you hear. Please don't take our word for it, but what we will convey is this. Those who are parents and have raised their parents up to being adults.
Their children. Raise their children up to being adults.
Right on. Those who are parents that raise their children into adulthood know that there comes a time and a place in which they determine their own decisions, their own path. You can have multiple children that are raised in one house, but they act and they take on different things. The reason why it was so important for us to entertain these conversations that we typically have privately, or that we're influenced to have privately amongst the people in our community, is because we need to stop being embarrassed about being human beings and about being black human beings. You will oftentimes hear us saying we are embarrassing ourselves in front of them. Who is them?
Who are they?
Because when you hear someone articulate these things, that is the slave's mentality. That makes us believe that we as black people need to conduct ourselves with dignity because white people are watching. You should conduct yourself with dignity because the spirit of you is watching.
Come on.
But we need to have these conversations out loud and taboo because we have a finite period of time together here on this earth. You will travel through infinity with the spirit that you have all alone, and you will not remember the ridicule that you receive, but you will be judging yourself. You will be determining for the rest of your life which way that you go as you have thus far. So this conversation is about speaking directly to what situations are. And many people oftentimes, when they are presented with an issue, they stay quiet, they hide, they disappear. And what we're saying is that's not who we are, because what you cannot do is you cannot trick an honest person.
Come on.
You can demean, you can say whatever you want to say about them negatively, but what will happen is truth has a way of standing the test of time. I forgot to have my phone to read the last text message that I gave to you, Shalon, where I told you about the understanding of how you are speaking to a woman and how you as a man and how you perceive things may be completely different from how your wife, how your mother, how your sister, how your daughter will look at things. And when you learn how to communicate a little bit better, then things happen a little bit better because of the challenges that this young brother has had with mental illness. So we're communicating that out loud to speak to our community, to say, listen, y'all, if we have more public conversations, there will be less private angst.
Come on.
There will be less private issues that we carry on because we're afraid to communicate in front of white folks.
So when we get to a place where you want to be free, you will stop being scared to say what's real. You'll stop being fearful of having conversations that normally take place in private and nobody ever really knows the outcome.
Man, why the hell is her husband speaking on some shit that ain't got nothing to do with him? Monique's son got online earlier and was just talking about how he felt neglected as a child because as she was chasing her dream and doing whatever she had to do to make it, he didn't feel no love from his mother. Even his other siblings, they never felt no love. They never felt the true nurturing like, you know, a mother would give. She was out hustling, doing whatever she had to do, but I guess she neglected her kids, and she even admit that her assistant was the one that raised the boys, not her. and she would just come with gifts and new clothes and all this, but he wasn't receiving the emotional support, all the other stuff that comes with having a mother in your life. I was waiting on her to explain that part. I was waiting on her to say, no matter of fact, you wrong because of this or that, or I don't know who told you what, but I was there. I thought she was gonna come online and defend herself, but the whole time, her husband's speaking for her. I feel like that's her handler or something. She always call him daddy and all the other shit. Like, it's a weird relationship that they both got. Because how come every time she gotta address something or she respond to something, he right there for her? He always speaking for her. She a grown ass woman. Why she can't speak for herself? Especially on family business. Like, even though you married to Monique, that's not your son. I'm pretty sure they don't have any type of relationship. And yet she allowing him to go online and talk about some shit he probably don't know nothing about. Because I don't think the son lying. I don't think the son just coming out for some clout to talk about some shit that's not true. I feel like from his perspective, that's what happened. And Monique, instead of her defending herself, she let this nigga do it. That shit is wild, man. What I think about this will be.